Alrighty, we have a new Darkside Bounty Hunter coming to the game pretty soon, 4-LOM. I did already do the Developers Insights portion, which, if you haven't seen that, maybe give it a look. If not, I guess it doesn't really matter, because the kit reveals what anybody's really into. So, yeah, since you're here for that, let's just get into it. Alright, so starting off, we have the basic, which is called Destructive Rotation. Kind of looks like it's just a normal shot at the Imperial Probe Droid. Final attacks, deal special damage to target enemy 4 times, and inflict them with defense down for 1 turn. Is that 4 times? It didn't really look like it. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's only 3. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. That's 3. But it says inflict them with damage 4 times. Okay. Well, anyways, during 4-LOM's turn, Darkside Bounty Hunter attackers stealth for 2 turns. Attackers? That's a random choice. You'd think, like, well, maybe. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say you'd think tanks, but no, I'm thinking backwards, because you want tanks to taunt. So why would they stealth? That would be backwards. Okay, yeah, so now you want to protect your attackers, so that way then they can stick around and put up that damage like they're supposed to. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Special 1, Relative Mercy, cooldown 4. Looks like you just used the gun to do some electric attack. Final text, dispel buffs and deal special damage to target enemy and shock them for 2 turns, which can't be evaded. If target enemy was stunned, inflict vulnerable on all enemies for 2 turns. Enemies with 3 stacks of Corrupted Translation are inflicted with ability block for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. Wait, they're talking about Corrupted Translation, but they didn't tell us any moves that do that yet. Yeah, okay. Call other non-Galactic Legend Darkside Bounty Hunter allies to assist. If they were support, they assist again. Whoa, wait, what are you trying to tell us right now? Oh, Bounty Hunters. I was gonna say, never mind. I was gonna say, why are they talking about non-Galactic Legend, Bounty Hunters? I was like, we don't have a GL Bounty Hunter, but yeah, we do. Sort of, Jabba. I think Jabba goes by Hutt Cartel instead of Bounty Hunter, but, kind of the same idea, relatively speaking. So anyhow. If they were support, they assist again. Well, that's cool, although attackers is where it's at, but whatever. An extra assist doesn't hurt, especially when it's on your team. Special 2, Translation, Destroy, cooldown 8. Yep, I said in the Developers Insights, what did it have? Like a big cooldown like Annihilate? Annihilate is also a cooldown 8, so it's got the same cooldown. What does this even do? It's weird. Dispel all debuffs on Bounty Hunter allies and they recover 30% health and protection. Inflict all enemies with a stack of Corrupted Translation for 3 turns, which can't be copied, evaded, or resisted. Corrupted Translation. Negative effects based on the cumulative number of stacks. If you have 1 or more stacks, receive true damage whenever they deal a critical hit. This damage can't defeat this character. What? So what kind of true damage is dealt? When they deal what? Oh, I see. So if they give a crit, it just turns into true damage instead of the regular way it's done. I see. 2+. Whenever this character starts to turn, the enemy team gains 10% turn meter. And negative 30% max health GLs and raid bosses negative 30% tenacity. Well, that's dumb. They're super tenacious to begin with, and they have all these things can't be stunned and blah 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 blah. So who cares if you have minus 30% tenacity? That's not going to help anything. I'm confused though. Corrupted Translation is a debuff that is put on the enemy, right? Receive true damage when they deal a critical hit. So that means the enemy hits you critically and then they get true damage dealt onto them. So what is the damage? How is that damage calculated? What is it from? Is it like reflected from whatever damage that they dealt, they get put back on themselves as well? Or like, how does that work? And then it says the enemy team gains 10% turn meter. So that would mean that the player is getting 10% turn meter, basically. And then, yeah, this dumb tenacity thing. The health is much better, though, because then that's like, it's like a starting them weaker. Yeah, it's a lot easier to kill them if they have 30% less health. Like, let's just for easy numbers, let's say they had 100,000 health. 30% less, they're starting at 70,000 health. So it's a lot easier to take them out now. This move isn't that great though. I don't really understand why it has such a big cooldown. Cooldown at 8 just for that? Like it's kind of just mid and average. Like what? Anyways, he has a leader ability. It's called Cold Calculations. Final text. Bounty Hunter allies have plus 50% potency and tenacity. Whenever a Bounty Hunter ally inflicts a debuff, they recover 5% health. Whenever an enemy critically hits a Bounty Hunter ally, that ally recovers 10% health and protection. If there are no enemy GLs, whenever an enemy gains bonus turn meter, Bounty Hunter allies gain 10% offense and potency, max 80% and 5 speed, max 40, until the end of the encounter. So whenever an enemy gains bonus turn meter, what a weird stipulation in order for us to gain offense and stuff. And then we have plus 50% potency and tenacity. Okay. Whenever the Bounty Hunter ally inflicts a debuff, they recover 5% health. Whenever an enemy critically hits a Bounty Hunter ally, that ally recovers some health. Okay. When Forlom is in the leader slot and not in the ally slot, the following contract is alive. Deal damage with an attack to enemies with Corrupted Translation 20 times. Enemies must be debuffed with Corrupted Translation before the start of an attack to count progress. Only Bounty Hunter allies can contribute to the contract. Reward. All Bounty Hunter allies have their payouts activated, and all Bounty Hunter allies have their cooldowns reset and gain 50% potency until the end of the battle. You know, this seems like quite a bit just to get the contract. Deal damage 20 with an attack to enemies with Corrupted Translation 20 times? Like, just to get to Corrupted Translation, it has a big cooldown. You gotta wait the 8 turns, or at least if you can reduce it. I think there's a way to reduce it. I don't know, I thought there was. I don't know, but like, you gotta wait 8 turns to get this. And then you gotta do damage 20 times on top of that? You know, even if you did like a mass assist thing, that's 5. You're still gonna do it 15 more times. I don't know. Seems like quite a contract to fulfill. Let's see. Unique. Override programming. Zeta and an Omicron. Final text. Forlom has plus 30% potency if there are no GLs. Whenever another Bounty Hunter ally attacks on turn, Forlom assists. Only once per turn. Whenever Forlom attacks an enemy with accuracy down, he reduces his cooldowns by 1. Okay, well that helps with the translation thing. But you need to have you need to have an enemy that has accuracy down, though. At the start of battle, if Zuckuss is an ally, all non-GL Bounty Hunter allies gain 30% max health and max protection. Whenever an enemy with Corrupted Translation has their turn meter manipulated, Forlom gains 25% turn meter once per turn. Whenever an enemy with 3 stacks of Corrupted Translation ends their turn, Forlom gains 50% turn meter. Okay. While in territory battles, oh yeah, because he's got an Omicron, so here's the goofy Omicron part. At the start of battle, Bounty Hunter allies gain 100% offense and max health. Whenever an enemy with 3 stacks of Corrupted Translation ends their turn, Forlom gains an additional 50% turn meter. If there are no GLs, allies, at the start of battle, whenever a Bounty Hunter ally starts their turn, they gain bonus protection 50% stacking for 2 turns. You know, when I was reading the Developers Insights portion, it said that there was going to be a lot of callouts to like synergies with Zuckuss and stuff. And yet now here we are, and it's like, where's all the callouts to Zuckuss? This is the only time I've specifically seen Zuckuss is right here. If Zuckuss is an ally, just once. So much for all your callouts to Zuckuss. Anyways, and then we get his contract, which this is good no matter who's the leader and all that. His contract, his payout, is just final text. Whenever Forlom receives rewards from a contract, he also gains the following payout. Contracts are generated by certain Bounty Hunter leader abilities. Yeah, by any Bounty Hunter. They all have, if they have a leader ability, they have a way to activate, whatever, your contract. But anyways, the payout for Forlom is Forlom gains 100% potency until the end of battle. Whenever Forlom uses Translation Destroy, he inflicts an additional 2 stacks of Corrupted Translation for 3 turns. Okay, well, I guess that's good. That way then he can get to that highest payout a lot faster. And, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I was going to say it can help with achieving the bounty or whatever. But if you already got the payout, it doesn't matter at this point. It's already happened. Who cares? Now it's just to keep those debuffs going on enemies. Anyways, community comments. What do they say? Do they think this is kind of gay like I do, or what? Can Forlom lift Afra? Can Zuckuss? I'm guessing this is wrong in the post. Lol. Marquee event starting Tuesday, August 12th. Did it say that? August 12th? Yeah, it has to be wrong. Because it's definitely not August 12th. Yeah, they did change it. It's October 21st. I don't know how they got way off like this originally. Will Forlom and Zuckuss be getting a ship? Does this mean translation is the opposite of corrupted translation for things like General Kenobi's first special that gives you the opposite buff for the debuff you have? What? I get it, but that's some confusing wording. Maybe in 2 years. Okay, don't know what you're applying to. Nice looking kit, but Territory Battle of all things, the autocard market is going to be stimulated with this one. Fire. Honestly, it's an interesting kit. I'm glad we have the choice of farming these characters this era, with them not being required for anything, so we can work on other things within our roster. But those who want to get them early, honestly, solid era so far, CG. Just need that Smuggler's Run 3 for info. That Smuggler's Run 3 info. The wording on TM on translation corruption is pretty hard to follow. Is Forlom's team getting the TM? The wording on TM on translation corruption. Yeah, I think all of that was kind of confusing because they're phrasing it from the enemy's perspective. So then when it says enemy, the enemy is you. It's so nice seeing one of these classic kits. Lifter for Afra or useless, to be honest. Everyone's talking about Afra, but she's not that special. You know what I mean? The way I see the characters in the game is it goes like this. The most special, obviously, are GLs. Then it goes the Conquest characters, because Conquest characters always have 3 Omicrons, and they're usually pretty solid. And they serve as lifters for GLs, so, they're kind of like President and Vice President or something. Then I see it as legendary characters, which Afra would be like that legendary status that I'm talking about, where you need to farm other characters first, and then you can unlock her. But the problem with Afra is I feel like there's 2 levels of legendary. There's the higher order legendary, where they need a bunch of characters, like, let's say, the new Mace. The new Mace window, I think, needs, 6 characters? Or who else kind of needs a lot? Didn't CLS need a fair amount? I think CLS needed, R2, which is also a legendary character himself. And then you needed to have, a bunch others, right? So there's ones like that have quite a few. And then there's the legendaries that have, 4 characters. Which, the ones that had 4 are, Jar Jar. He just had the other Gungans. Or Afra. She only has 4 requirements. Or, Bo-Katan Mandalore. She has 4. Even, Starkiller, he had, 4 or 5? That's not that many either. So, in a way, Afra is, a tier 4 character. So, her getting a lifter doesn't really seem valid. I feel like lifters are for tier 1 and 2, maybe a tier 3, a tier 3 character that they didn't make as beefy as they intended to, so they come up with a lifter to try to correct that. Let's say this new Mace. I have no idea what this new Mace is all about. I've never gone up against one yet, haven't really seen any videos about him yet. I don't have him myself, so I don't know what he's like. But let's say he's kind of ridiculously mid, and say they wanted to actually make him kind of decent, so we actually have a good Mace in the game. So then say they were like, well, let's give him a lifter, which kind of in a way, Depa Billaba is that lifter. So let's say we didn't have it, and then they added Depa after. Then it would kind of make sense, because it's alright, he is a tier 3, I get it. But Afra, she don't need no dang lifter, she's fine where she's at. If she's mid, whatever. She doesn't need to be lifted. Anyways, though, just a goofy little tangent. So that's all I got. So thanks for checking this out with me, and until next time, I said see ya.